How are you going to help my company?
Fundamentally, it's going to double your closure rate, right? If you were knocking, doing direct mail, online advertising, doing opt-in, and you were experiencing X of closure and new deals, by using Reworked AI on the front end, you're going to get at a minimum of 2X. And what we always say to our clients is we want to be able to provide a 7 to 12 times savings on their customer acquisition cost.
Perfect. So guys, I'm sitting here with Fred Castonguay. He's from Reworked AI. Tell me a little bit about your company, what you guys do, and why this tool is so cool.
Chase, yeah, thank you for having us on. Right, it's a pleasure to be here at D2D Con, and we are using machine learning, right, which is AI. But the difference between all the fancy AI that we're all hearing about, these large language models, is it's all fairly new. But machine learning has been around for a long time, and we're using machine learning and augmented demographics to understand what's going on in the mind of an owner, the owner of a house. Doesn't matter if your company is looking to get into that house, to buy it, to flip it, if you're looking to sell solar, if you're looking to understand what the roof, so you can sell a roof. We're helping people lead gen and lead score by understanding what's going on in the mind of the owner as well as the structure. Essentially all of the things that we see on TikTok, Instagram, online, we're bringing that digital component to an analog world.
Okay. And what industries have been your focus?
So just over 2 years ago, we launched in the real estate world, first with land, then single family, multifamily, helping investors find properties for off-market, below retail sales. We then got into insurance activities and then solar. We got into solar last year and it's been very successful.
Great.
We've launched a complete proprietary algorithm for roofing in January of this year.
Oh,
and we're really excited to, thank you. It's been, it was about 7 to 8 months to build that algorithm and millions of lines of data in order to program the algorithm to give good outputs. But we've been able to launch that now for this conference.
That's awesome. So I want to ask you, because I think a lot of people have a different idea of what a good output is. So what's the end result for somebody who plugs in your tool, say a roofer, wants to work with Reworked AI? What would be the bottom line for me? How are you going to help my company?
Fundamentally, it's going to double your closure rate, right? If you were knocking, doing direct mail, online advertising, doing opt-in, and you were experiencing X of closure and new deals, by using Reworked AI on the front end, you're going to get at a minimum of 2X. And what we always say to our clients is we want to be able to provide a 7 to 12 times savings on their customer acquisition cost, right?
And CAC is huge in solar and roofing, and I mean, I can imagine I'm not very well versed in real estate, but there's no way that those leads are cheap if roofing leads are as expensive as they are.
Right, so when we got into solar and roofing, we were blown away by the CAC. Right? Yeah. Real estate has a reasonable expense there when you look at some of the antiquated processes that go into buying a property. But solar and roofing, it can be up to a third of the cost of the install is essentially inefficient.
Wow.
Right? It's getting to the deal, which tells the roofers and tells everybody else that there's money in them. There are hills for people to either increase their margin or for a knocker to make more money. But if a knocker's going to go out and knock 100 doors, get 20 appointments and 3 deals, they use our software on the front end, knock 80 doors, get 40 appointments, get 15 to 18 deals, right? Because they're getting insight, they're seeing behind the door, they're seeing what's going on in the mind of the owner.
So you can give us information that's going to be pertinent to what makes this customer buy, what makes them able to buy. Am I getting that right?
Yes and no,
okay.
Right? So the algorithms use the demographics. Where solar and roofing, we're using about 50 data points to determine the probability score for that home. What we're not doing is saying, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson have a high probability score, and this is why. There's 2 reasons for that, because the data that we're buying, we use it for computational purposes only. If we want to share that data, it's a completely different price point.
Right.
Plus, the door knocker, the roofer, installer, all they want to know is where, who. Tell me where the customer is, I'll go and close it.
We have a lot
of great door knockers here that can sell ice to an Eskimo, They just need to know where that customer is.
Where is the Eskimo? Exactly. I love that. Cool. So obviously, like, my expertise has been in roofing, and I know that you had a couple of questions too. Like, what are some things that we could help you get with?
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm not an expert in roofing, right? I had a lot of expertise in real estate, but one of the areas that we've been looking at is the funding of the roof replacement, right?
Okay.
The funding and the timing of the roof replacement. Would you characterize most roofs are replaced prior to failure, as in a normal course of maintenance, and saying, okay, I've got an asphalt shingle roof that's 15 years, I better do something with it? Or is it because something happened and therefore they're able to access insurance funds?
So this is very market specific, right? It definitely markets where there's no way your roof lasts 25 years or 30, whatever the manufacturer warranty is, like, not even close. And then there's other markets where they haven't had a storm in 30 or 40 years that qualifies under hail, wind, hurricane, tornado. So there are markets where it is virtually 100% retail. And then there are markets like Midland, Texas, where
you'll be lucky if your roof lasts 5 years.
Exactly, right? So I do think that I see a lot of value in knowing who is a good customer, right? And if you guys can determine why, you're right, I don't really care. My why to go out and knock the door is all I need, but who to talk to, if you can show me to be more efficient, and this is at least a qualified buyer, and I know that before I ever get to the doorstep, the mental going into that it's almost an unfair advantage.
It is an unfair advantage. We were talking with a roofing company that does a lot of door knocking, and this gentleman, he said, look, if I can give my knockers a real or perceived edge as they walk out the door, nothing different like a football team. This is our stadium. Nobody comes in here and gets them pumped up, right? That's a lot of what's going on here. But if I can give them a real or perceived edge, they're going to be more fanatical. They're going to go out there. And the other thing I wanted to touch on is we're not a canvassing app. We're never going to be a canvassing app. We're the data to tell you where to go. And to your point about the why, right? These knockers, they're single-minded focused to get appointments, close, get the deal, right?
Right.
They don't need a lot of UI in front of them to say, well, this person's 62-year-old versus this person's 45-year-old. That introduces bias, right? Well,
right.
I don't do well with old people, so I'm going to skip that house. No. You need to charge in there and you need to sell. It doesn't matter if that person is 8 to 80, you need to be able to close on that deal. So not giving too much information, just saying it's right there. Go close.
Right. Here's a high probability score. Don't worry about too much of the details.
And it's high probability for the person as well as the structure. So if you're looking at solar, this person wants solar, but their roof is a geometric mess.
They have 100-year-old trees all around the property.
They're getting nothing. So yes, they may want it, but it doesn't make sense, or there's so much, the actual install is not going to be that lucrative because they're going to spend forever trying to get custom shapes and put it in place.
Right.
So it's looking at the owner as well as the structure.
So what you're saying is your tool is not, you have 50 data points, but it's not necessarily just on the homeowner.
It's 26 for the homeowner and 24 for the structure.
Okay, so there's very key points there, because as a roofer, I mean, it's funny because people will say like, oh, give me a quote, and if I want to, I can go get 20 quotes today. Like, yeah, sure you can. Be my guest, go do that. But like, is it going to be worth giving this customer a quote? Am I chasing down this person who really
it's a rabbit hole?
Yeah, are they? And in my experience, most of the time they're chasing the bottom, and I'm not ever going to be at the bottom. So have fun, right? Let me know when your new roof starts leaking because you got the cheapest product, right? But no, I'm curious, like what made you guys rank those data points? Because you have 26 on the homeowner, right? And you have 24 on the structure. Like, why would I want to choose your system? And what would that ranking, like, what gives you the advantage over maybe somebody else who's doing machine learning or AI? Because far too many companies, I think, say they are AI, and it's just this confusing guise to someone like me. I'm a dumb roofer. I'm a chuck in a truck. So why are you guys better, right?
So that's a really good question, right? And those data points were created and used by the system, right? The humans didn't program this. This is not a person sitting there saying, if the person is over 60 years old, then rank 5 points higher.
Right.
It's no if-then statements in there. The reason it took us 7 months to create the algorithm for roofing is because we had to buy several million lines of data, permits, people who had replaced their roofs in the last 18 to 24 months. Then we populated their demographics. We were going back for imagery beforehand, and then we did a neighborhood analysis. So Chase replaced his roof, right, a year ago. Did his neighbors replace his roof, right? What are the demographics right that? So once we created why you changed and they didn't, we're looking at the demographics, and then that creates the causality of why you did it, right? And the same with the structure. So it's not a human programming it. I like to say we took all this data and we ran it through the machine backwards.
Right.
And it learned. Now we run it through the machine frontwards, and it's the output.
There you go.
So it's not programming, it's truly learning.
True learning.
And we don't use large language models. We do say AI because machine learning is AI.
Yeah.
But machine learning has been around since World War II, right? This is just the capability of our brains manifested in a computer.
Yeah, right.
Nothing that you wouldn't be able to do if you could look at reams and reams of data and process it within minutes.
Right. Instead of not at all, because I just want to go sell. That's why
you want to go sell, you want to install, that's how you want to make money.
Right.
And that's a common theme, whether it's in roofing or solar. These people that are turning wrenches are doing it, they just tell me where. If you can tell me where, I don't even know why, and then I'll go close it.
Right. So I guess a good question to ask, like, where are you available all across the U.S., across the world? Like, what?
It's U.S. based.
Okay,
right?
US
we have
based.
limited capability in Canada. One of the beautiful things about the United States is our ability to access the demographic information.
Yeah.
Right. If we can't access that, then none of the algorithms in the world will be able to tell you anything.
You can't make nothing out of no data. I understand that at least. No, that makes a lot of sense. So say I'm a roofer and I see a lot of value in this. Am I going to be talking to Mr. Castonguay himself, or who is it that I work with your company? How does it go?
So we've got a team of about 18 people between engineering and sales and service. Right?
Okay.
Always happy to talk to a new customer. We've designed our site to really where they can do a lot of this online, and we have ongoing conversations with a couple canvassing and CRMs for integration, the same roadmap that we did for real estate. Right? Everybody wants it simple. They want the button. They want the easy button.
Well, and that was the next question I was going to ask you, because like a huge thing with AI companies, and I can't even say AI, just technology in general, is like your ability to integrate. Because one of the biggest complaints I get from reps is I give them a new position and I overload them with information on how to sell my product and all of the objections, and I mean, you name it, right?
And 3 things you got to go fill out.
Yes, and then 42 apps that you've got to use and collectively navigate and know how to, translate the information from here to here. Like, let's say I do want to plug your tool in. What are the chances that I can get that data to show up in my current CRM that I'm already using? Because you said you guys aren't a CRM, you're not any of that. So talk to me through that.
I mean, we have integrations with a lot of the CRMs via Zapier and HubSpot. Right?
Okay, awesome.
We are working to go native integration with them, whether on a white label or private label. This is not a tool for a rep, right?
Yeah.
This is a tool for the rep support to drop the information, to grab it, drop it in the CRM, drop it in the canvassing app. The rep, it's agnostic. I mean, they're not going to see it. They're just going to be told, this is all driven by machine learning. This is where you go.
This is where you go. No, and that's why I asked, because if that can be plugged into a tool that, like, I have a team, let's say in Denver, and they're already out knocking these areas with an app. They've got all their customers, their notes, their phone numbers. Like, Ethel lives in this house and David just has a baby in this one. Like, I don't want to have to now switch where I'm looking. If I can have your tool in that's what you're saying. That's pretty easy through Zapier. Yeah. And would that just look like a score on my house? Like, how would I see your data?
Yeah, it would be independent on that canvassing of what that notation is, but there would be an ability to notate. Everybody's got the different fields. You could put different colors or whatever. I mean, that's somewhat immaterial, but that's up to the canvassing and the CRM.
Like who they're currently using.
Yeah.
So I love that it can be like just directly plugged in, and now I have, it sounds like an infinite knowledge base of where my customers are.
Yeah. And one of the things that I want to touch on, Jason, is price.
Please,
right?
that's what I was going to get to.
Right, I mean, price is important,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the old adage, who gets rich on a gold mine is the guy selling the shovel, right?
Yep.
So we're priced in cents, right, per record. And the reason we're able to do that is because we don't have a warehouse in Manila of 400 people creating this, right? Our largest cost component is our data augmentation, right? But we're anywhere from 20 to 40 cents depending on if it's lead gen or lead scoring and how big you are, right? There is no membership, there is no subscription. You want to run 100,000 this month and then do nothing for 3 months, that's fine. You're still going to get that same low price. So we really are in this to make people more efficient. We want to make money a little bit at a time, right?
Gotcha.
We're a volume game.
Right.
Right? And so it's priced so people can be able to get back to that 7 to 10 times savings on their customer acquisition.
So let me make sure that I understand that correctly, because again, I'm just a dumb roofer who knocks doors, right? So 20 to 40 cents per data point. That means if I looked at 100 houses, it would be like $4.
That's right.
So very, very affordable.
Yeah.
What again, just speak a little bit to me on the numbers, like, because you said you guarantee 2x.
Yeah.
And like, say I don't get that, is that just a refund, or do we offer more improved numbers out? Like, because that, I'm sure that's going to be a question that people ask. Like,
so we haven't had that question yet. I mean, we've had the question, but we haven't had it actually happen.
Perfect.
Right. And that's why I say 2x, because it sounds great, twice, double, right? But if you think about it, you're getting the person that is the mindset ready to go and the structure. Right. So we're seeing 3, 4, 5, 7 times. But I don't want to say that, because that's not always the case. And a lot of that is in the hands of the rep. The rep's a jerk, or the rep's not a good closer. They're going to come back to me and say, well, Fred, you gave us bad data. There's a lot out of our control.
Right. No, and that's why I'm kind of asking a little bit, because eventually on a long enough timeline, you're going to run into that customer that's like, well, hey, you said so.
Yeah, I mean, we've had customers in our real estate space. We always say subjectively and objectively, we want it to work. If it doesn't work, let us know. We want to see the details, and then we'll give you your money back.
That's
right. We're not here to get rich off of Joe's $300. Right. That's not the way. We're here to have Joe do that every other week or every month. Right. That's how you make money as a SaaS.
Right. Well, and I guess in any industry,
sure.
If you're not looking at your customer base as a long-term relationship and truly service-oriented, I mean, Sam talked about it. The roofing panel that was in the main stage yesterday talked about it. That's always heavy in my trainings. Like, the end result has to be serving your customer.
It's leading with integrity, right? I mean, you got to get up in the morning and look yourself in the mirror. One of the things that I've taken away from this conference is there's a lot of very nice people that are genuinely trying to do a good job. They're just trying to get to the result. Everybody's trying to make money. There's nothing wrong with that. And they're just nice, right? And it's a great takeaway. I don't know Sam, right? I had a quick conversation with him the other night. But he leads with integrity, and he's a genuine person, right? I mean, he gave a little speech on Tuesday night, and he was choking up on something what to me would seem small, but it meant a lot to him, right? And it characterized D2D Expert, D2D Con, and the people that come.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. Like, this is definitely amazing, and I compare it that. Like, Sam is one of the most genuine guys out there, and it's cool to see that there's not just reps that are trying to do that, but there is good companies out there they're just there to try and make your life easier. There's far too many people out there that'll take advantage of the fact that I'm a dumb roofer. And it's nice to know that, like, there is other people out there doing a similar thing for us too, because Lord knows we need all the help we can get.
Everybody does.
Yeah,
everybody does.
Perfect. Was there any other questions you had for me?
No, I just want to talk about this conference, right? I've been to many conferences, and what I really liked about D2D Con was it's a good mix between vendor and customer. Right. Sometimes you go to a conference and it's very heavy vendor, and you're all waiting around for the customer to show up.
Yeah, right? When are they going to be here?
When's the customer going to be here? But we've had great conversations. Just, people lined up wanting to talk. There's a lot of customers here. If you're in this space and you want to come and meet and learn, and it's not just roofing, it's not just solar. We've had people dentless car repair, real estate. There's everybody here saying, hey, this door knocking is still a good way to get in front of the customer. It can't be replicated, right? It's still a solid way to get business.
Yeah. Well, and so I have to get a plug on that right while we're here. Like if I was a rep or a vendor or even an owner of a company with people thinking about coming out to this conference, what would your advice to me to be? Would you say come or don't come, and why?
You would absolutely come, and I would take it as a team trip, right? You're going to have workshops. You're going to be able to learn from people that have been here. You're going to be able to talk. You are going to be able to talk to vendors that are doing things differently, right? But you got to come with an open mind. You got to come with a notebook. And and it's fun, right? I mean, there's different parties and different things to go to, and it's a great environment. It's intimate, but yet it's big.
Yeah, kind of get the best of both worlds, right? Awesome. Well, Mr. Castonguay, super nice to meet you.
Chase,
thank you so much.
I appreciate the time and the questions.
Absolutely.
Very nice. Thank you.